Awesome. Good afternoon. Welcome to a Lunch and Learn with Purse Strings. My name is Maggie Nielsen. I'm a partner here at Purse Strings, and we're all about doing these live so we can get some great information, knowledge, skill out to our community, and to get those wheels turning. And then when you're ready to start planning that budget, plan for retirement, get back on track with some goals, we have top tier financial professionals ready, willing, and able to serve you. We call those our purse strings approved professionals, and Connor Tyson is one of them. So we're so excited to have him on today to talk about his client, who we're going to call Sarah, and her journey of financial success and overcoming limitations as a single mom. But before we dive into all of that, Connor, could you give us a little intro of who you are and what you do?
Yep. So my name's Connor Tyson. I'm a financial wellness coach. This is after being a financial advisor for 22 years. I decided just to be a coach, be a guide, and transform the way in which people deal with their money, personal
Yeah,
finance.
awesome. Yeah, it's all about getting those foundations, right?
Yes.
So we're going to talk about your client, Sarah, today. And so to get started, can you tell us a little bit about like why Sarah came to you? What were some of her concerns? What's the reason that she really came to work with you?
Yep. So Sarah, 38, young, ambitious, hardworking, intelligent woman, mid-level career in a hospital. She was basically frustrated, overwhelmed, unaware of where her money was going, frustrated by personal finances. She went through a divorce and she was kind of like, I need to get this under control, right? She was very busy. I remember one of her struggles was she was getting pulled in a lot of different directions, right? She had a professional career, kids, sports, after school activities, and she knew that her personal finances were important and they weren't getting the attention that they deserved. And she also didn't know where to start, right? Of
Hmm.
how to prioritize what she wanted to accomplish.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how she came to me. She was definitely overwhelmed, confused, a little stressed out, and a lot of guilt and shame around
Okay.
money, right? A little embarrassment, which is a okay, right? Everybody's got a
Hmm.
little bit of that. And she was limited with like what her resources were, right? She didn't want to take a course. Who's got time for that, right? So she wanted small, edible, digestible pieces of information that she could implement and make
Hmm.
change. So I can definitely work with her. And yeah, that's where we started. That's where we started.
Awesome. Awesome. And so I know, like you said, she was a single mom. So she's trying to balance, I know you want to have your kids do their sports and do those things. You have your personal goals, you have the day-to-day bills, all these different things. So what are some of the first steps that you two kind of started working with together, to, get on the right track?
Yep. So the phases of our coaching that I do here at Progress Solutions is three things, right? One is refocus, gain control, and execute the plan. So under refocus, what we did is we helped prioritize
Hmm.
what her goals were, then really get crystal clear on her why. What was the motivation of changing her habits and behaviors? That's really what it
Hmm.
was. It wasn't a lack of knowledge. She knew what to do. Almost everybody knows what to do, right? Spend less than you make, save, avoid debt, give. We know this. Why isn't anybody doing this? It was basically habits and behaviors, follow through, and accountability. So we help to
Hmm.
refocus that. Then the gain control piece is the tools and resources. So we started giving her some tools and resources, the digestible pieces. One was getting a handle on where her money was going, right?
Right.
So we did a little T chart of her net worth, right, which is her financial report card. Then what we did was with her budget, something simple. We have a thing called a 15-minute budget plan. It's only 15
Mm.
minutes a month because who's got time for that, right? So we basically showed her where her money's going, needs and wants, right? The essentials, things that she wanted. We helped prioritize those. We went through line item out of her budget. We had a discussion on what was important, what wasn't, what aligned with her goals and values, which was part of refocus.
Hmm.
Really finding out what was important to her, right? Family was important to her. She wanted to provide for her family, right? And have a bright future for them, but also have financial stability for herself now, peace of mind,
Hmm.
and then a stable future in the future, right? So and then execute the plan, the accountability, right? So we met once a week and then every other week and then once a month. And now
Okay.
we still meet to this day.
Awesome. Yeah. So it's really taking, I know you said you started with kind of that your net worth. which is kind of that overarching view, which I know for some people can look scary because I think even in this story, she had some debt that she carried. So sometimes your net worth is negative, which can be very intimidating, very scary. And so that's something you start with first. And we always like to clarify, your net worth is
Not who
not
you are.
your worth. It's just your financial net worth. But I'm sure you guys started with that debt tackling first.
Yeah, so she had approximately $74,000 in debt, right? Different
Hmm.
types of debt, credit cards, student loan, a couple other things, auto loan. And we wanted to find a way to tackle this in a way that she'd make some progress, right?
Yeah.
And then celebrate those successes. So we started with benchmarks, small little benchmarks. And when she paid off the first credit card, boom, go get the hair and nails done, get the massage, whatever you want. And then it was like, okay, what's the next goal? What's the next? And we started chipping away at this.
Yeah.
And then she had goals in between, right? So she wanted to go on a trip with the girlfriends,
Mm.
right? And it was a looming thing that she knew was going to cost like $3,000 all in, a week away. I was like, okay. I was like, let's start saving for that now. So we help prioritize those things and clarity because life doesn't go on hold just because you
Right.
want to get this aspect in your life. And then, yeah, so we gave her a finish line too, right? Because
Okay.
it's sometimes it's human nature to avoid those things you don't understand or know what's going on. So once we gave her a finish line, listen, if we follow these steps, you'll be debt free within 18 months,
Yeah.
18 to 20 months, right? So it was like, wow. And then we accelerated. That's my goal. They don't know that, but my goal is to make that shorter, right? So you have some hope at the end of light at the end of the tunnel, and then build in some strategies and techniques to accelerate that, loosen up more cash flow, empower, and then get out of their way, which is what I
Yeah.
had to do with Sarah, which is pretty awesome.
And I love that, you really encouraged her to kind of treat herself after each goal because at each time, it's like, yes, I paid off 5 grand, but I still have 50 grand to do, so I don't deserve the hair and nails or I don't deserve, the massage yet because I still have the 50K to focus on. But it's like, no, we did 5K, we got to look at where we came from to where we're going and look at kind of that gain rather than that gap.
Yeah, you want to reinforce the positive habits and behaviors, right? Because when things happen, you want to revert back to those things that make you comfortable, the way you used to do things, right? And there's
Yeah.
a lot of emotions like we speak about a lot, Maggie, which is the money mindset, right? The things
Hmm.
that we tell ourselves every single day that, oh, I can't afford this. I say, just put the word yet in front of it, right?
Yeah.
Just can't afford this yet. I'll find a way right now. We look at the priorities. This is what's most important. Put this on hold. And yeah, we made a lot of progress really quickly, which was pretty awesome.
And so then as a single mom, you want to be allow them to do the dance or the sports or, the art class, whatever it is. And so how do you kind of bring that in and make that, part of the budget, part of that planning and make that possible as well?
What we did was something that she wanted to start doing is teaching her kids about money. So I said, okay,
Awesome.
great. We're going to have a family budget meeting, right?
Mm.
And I'm not going to use her last name, but it was her last name. Let's use my last name, Tyson, right? Tyson Incorporated
Right.
business meeting. That was it. I was like, here's the income, here's the expenses, these are the priorities, this is the goal for this quarter of the year. Can we work as a team, right? We know that these things are important. These are things on the horizon. What can we kind of pause or cut back on so we can get where we want to go together?
Mhm.
And it involved her son, and it was pretty awesome. And it gave some structure to the chaos, if you will,
Yeah.
and aligning her goals and values and that of the family with her budget. It was empowering. So then she was excited about budgeting because she
Yeah.
started realizing she was accomplishing those things that she really wanted to.
It's so great to bring in the family as I know even growing up, my parents didn't want to do too much about money because it was like, I don't want that to be a stressor. It's not a stressor. I don't have to be that a stressor, because some families grow up like that, where other people, it's like, it's very active conversation. And so bringing in those kids and teaching some of those things at a young age is so important as, she's learning it in her 30s. Why not learn it when you're 8 or whatever the case may
Yeah.
be?
Yep. And then one of the things that she took away, which is kind of common, was teaching her kid about the three buckets instead of one, just save. It was
Yep.
spend, save, give. And
Mm,
the exercise of going through that every month, right, was
right.
changed his perspective of money. Instead of an allowance, we also changed it to commissions.
Okay.
right? So it was equating money with work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Work to get the money. So it just wasn't because you're, breathing. Here's 20, $25 for the week or whatever. It was
I
like,
would love that.
yeah, do chores around the house and you get rewarded for the work that you do. And so it was fostering good habits at a younger age. And she loved that. And then she started radiating positive things and the stress in the house went down. She was more available for the sporting events.
Right.
Yeah. So it was a real transformation. It was pretty awesome.
Awesome. And so, um, where did she save up this money then? I know we talked about like the buckets of, for you, for savings and for donating. And so where do you recommend someone save this money for like this long-term trip that, or this, trip that she was going to take with the girls, is about $3,000. Where do you kind of save that and how do you help her plan to bring that in the equation?
Yep. So what we did is we listed out some of her goals, and it's a savings account,
Mm,
right? But it's having a ledger for that savings account. So if you have
mhm,
$12,488 in your savings account, great. What is it for?
mhm,
And then you actually know, oh, $2,000 is for Christmas. $800 is the tire replacement fund. This, and then you have it ledgered out, and then you have percentages as to how close you are from that goal. So you can actually know where your money's going, what it's allocated for, instead of having separate savings account for every goal, which is confusing. It's just
you'd get
one,
a lot of
you know
accounts.
exactly give every dollar a job,
Hmm.
right? What's the dollar used for? And she had a girls' trip, which I mentioned. She had some debt. She had a couple things going on, sporting events, right? So it was, I guess it was in, she had more awareness,
Hmm.
control. When you have more awareness and control, the anxiety level drops because
Yeah.
now you know what you need, where you stand, right? And
Yeah.
more knowledge, more power. And she got on top of that, which was good.
And I'm sure once you start paying down some of that debt, after a couple months, you're like each month is just a little more soothing.
Yeah.
And so how do you kind of change this money mindset of, I have so much debt to pay off. I don't deserve to go on this trip. I shouldn't spend my money in this direction because I do have this debt I'm still trying to pay down. How do you justify that kind of both are okay, or you don't, you say you pay down this debt and then you go on the vacation, what's kind of
Yeah,
that
it's
approach there?
prioritization of what that person wants, right? Because if I say it to you, you don't believe it. If you say it, you believe it, right? So I just
Right.
ask really good, insightful questions as to what's really important to you. It's not that you can't get that porch fixed. You can, but what's the
Hmm.
opportunity cost? What is it that you're giving up short term, midterm for what you really want to accomplish, right? And then
Hmm.
help get clarity on prioritization of, okay, maybe I can do both, but maybe not at the rate I want to,
Mm.
right? So maybe I have to put off fixing the porch for $3,000 or whatever it is for another 4 months. Is life going to
Right.
end? No, right? So
Exactly.
it's not an all or nothing. Sometimes it's a little bit of everything, as long as you're
Hmm.
going in the right direction and not going back. And
Right.
one of the things that she kind of struggled with was impulse purchases in the beginning. And it was very eye opening when she went through. She's like, wow, it was almost 300 some odd dollars a month on
Wow.
items less than $25. So we went
Wow.
through her bank statement and it was like, okay, highlight anything less than $25 for the month. And it was all impulse purchases that weren't, you know, proactively thought of beforehand.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay. So it was eye opening in that 300 and some odd dollars could have been used towards a savings goal, paying off things. Now it's for investing, which is great. But
Yeah. And so I love that tip of, going through and highlighting. I think your number you picked was anything under $25
yeah,
because it is kind of that threshold of like, oh, it's only 20, $25,
well,
whatever.
yeah,
But those, whatevers add up quickly. I mean, that was probably 4, 8, 12 times. She probably said that to get $300, um, which is easy to do every couple of days for
yeah.
sure.
I used to say, like, how do you lose? I think it's $10,000 a year. It's just
Hmm.
spend $26.46 a day and not know where it went or have any intention of where that money went. You add that up, adds up to like 10,000, which is a very, very nice family vacation, down payment for a car, you
Yeah.
name it. And it's prioritizing those goals and being more intentional towards that money,
Yeah.
with that money.
saving $26 a day or spending
Yeah,
$26 a day,
spending
all
it
easy
out.
to
Yeah,
do to get to
almost
10
the same.
grand. Um, and so what's Sarah's situation like today? Can you kind of give us a status of where she's at?
Yep. So she's saving towards her goals. She's basically pays off almost all that debt.
Wow,
Yeah. So
impressive.
almost all 74,000. She's still chipping away. We meet monthly now for just a half an hour. She's in growth and accountability. She's taken some trips. She already has a full Christmas fund. So
Wow.
she has all her Christmas gifts paid for, cash. She's living, she's doing it,
Yeah.
right? And she's looking forward to the future instead of dreading it.
Hmm.
She's like, what else can I do? What else can I do? And it's amazing because it's like it's really empowering, and it's like, okay, great. And then the other areas of her life also improved, right?
Hmm.
Socially, mentally, she's going to the gym now. She can afford that. So
Yeah.
she's prioritized some of her goals with what she really wants to do, right? And
And you
you know,
said now she's planning for a trip to go see some horses, right? Because that's
yeah,
like,
so she likes horses, and I mentioned to her, I was like, have you ever been to Saratoga Springs? And she said, no.
hmm.
I said, okay, we're going. We're going. We're going to book this out next July. Let's put a budget on it of like $700. I said, okay, $700. We both save, 35 bucks a month.
Yep.
In that amount of time, we'll have the money and we can just go have a brunch, go check out the horses, go bet the ponies if you want to, have a great time, guilt free, right?
Yeah.
And you mentioned the trip before. One of the things was that she was able to leave vacation on vacation. Before, she used to go on
Mm,
trips and put it on a credit card and then have to pay it off. And I was like,
which is
bring the
not
vacation home.
enjoyable at any time.
No. And so this time it's another sinking fund, a goal, and we're
Hmm.
working towards it. And it's not a lot, right? It's just 35 bucks each, 70 bucks each. We do this for
Yep.
10 months, $700. Let's have some fun.
I love that. And
Yeah.
it's exciting when you start putting things on your list you never even thought of before. Because you have your own bucket list, but then now there's room for you to add new things and to have those new adventures that you never even dreamed of before.
Yeah. So that's the priority list. If you have a married couple, what we do is we give two separate lists,
Mm.
and then they list 1 through 10, and then they match them up and see what matches.
Mm.
And that's the new list. And then that way you're a team working together and carrying the yoke together and working together towards the goals that you really want, 1, 2, and 3, versus independent I want lists, right? Or I
Yeah.
lists. So that's a big
And
impact too.
I like that you make them separately and then bring them together versus like sit down and come up with 10 together. Then it's like
We'll
you'll never get
argue.
through the list.
Yeah, I'm married too. I'm married and 2 kids, and yeah, it wouldn't have worked. It would have been like, I want to do this. No, no,
Nobody gets anything.
yeah. So
Um, And just since we have some extra time here, I'd love if you could share any tips of like, as I know you mentioned, she's got her holiday fund all prepared. I know, it's coming to the end of October. We're coming into that season. What tips would you give to like anybody who's, preparing for the holiday season? As we know, it might be gifts, dinners, family, travel. So we don't end up, in January with
overspending,
tons and tons of debt.
and debt, tons of debt. So number one, really be intentional about what it is the holidays are about.
Mm,
It's really about the material things you give. What is your intention in that season? And
hmm.
then set your intention, right? And sometimes the best gifts you get are not material at all. Sometimes it's just
Right.
time or doing favors for other people, things of that nature, right? So those are the memory builders, right? Where another sweater or an outfit, okay, great. It's probably going to get donated in 3 years or sold at a garage sale in 5. So set
Don't
a
give it
set a
away.
budget. Yes, set a budget, right? Or a money plan. I hate using the B word, right? Set a money plan of what you think you can afford, and then make the list. Be intentional, and start saving for it now.
Hmm.
Right? Christmas is December 25th. Every single year we know this. If we just put away a little bit of money, let's say your budget's $2,000 or $2,400 or 1,200, whatever it is, just divide that by the 12 months
Hmm.
and start saving a little bit at a time in those sinking funds. Now, if you're starting right now, fine. Start saving right now, because anything more saved now is less debt later,
Right.
right? And you don't have to please everybody, right?
Good luck with that.
Yeah, you can't. So sometimes people come to the list like I have 40 people to give gifts to. That's not realistic sometimes, right? It's based upon where
Right.
you are financially. But you can also donate things. There's a lot of things you can do in the holidays that are not monetary,
Hmm.
right? Which is what really I think the holidays are all about. But yeah, there's things that you have to buy. So you have to set an intention of what that is, be
Yeah.
realistic, shop, shop out, really
Mm.
shop the deals, the bargains. If you're in debt, be unapologetic. Like, I'm getting my financial house in order,
Right.
because you
Right.
have a clear why, and you can voice that to other people around you, and they actually encourage you. Like, that's awesome,
Yeah,
right? There will
definitely.
be other Christmases where you can make it up. Right now, you might not be in a position to do that, but it's, yeah, budgeting, intentionality, and also the self worth. Understand, evaluating your values and goals of
Hmm.
what you really want to do. Is it really buying those things that you think, maybe it's trying to buy people's affections. It's not about that,
Right.
right? And you're the one that pays the price at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And we see that a lot. It was just trying to kind of buy that worth or buy that value, which you're priceless. You can't buy it. But a lot of those great memories of, I don't just baking some cookies together, maybe all doing the soup kitchen, um, all learning to knit sweaters together, something different.
A cooking class, something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking I want to buy some people I know like a good knife cutting class. That's been
Yes.
on my mind, so to use
You
knives
can put me
better.
on that list, Maggie.
Yeah, it's an essential cooking skill we all need, and it's like then will help, every time you go and cook, which is every day of the week.
Yeah.
Um, and so I love that. Those are great tips. And yeah, it's so impressive. Somebody was commenting. It's a good thing. She uh, was able to just save all that money for her um, holiday spending. And so, now it's a little bit more enjoyable when the holidays do come around.
Yeah, it's stress free. Yep. And she used to have, that was the big trigger for a lot of guilt and shame,
Yeah,
right? And it was
definitely.
like, I say, like, I help women stop the eternal tug of war with their personal finances.
Oh, that's
What's
great.
that tug of war look like? Is it the Christmas gifts or credit card? Is it summer camp or family vacation for the kids? It doesn't need to be like that, right? So I just
Right.
give the tools and resources of clarity around what's important, and help them and hold them accountable side by side, right? And let them know they're not alone,
I
right?
love that.
Yeah, that's what it's really about. Letting you know you're not on an island on your own. We can do
And
this.
And so in this conversation, we really talked about Sarah. So it really shows how, you do work with your clients. It sounds like you started with every week, then every other week, then monthly, things like that. And so is all your, if someone's interested in working with you, is it always one-on-one and you just kind of decide the coaching
Yeah, parameters.
rhythm
Yeah, so it's
between?
always one on one. It's confidential. It's always, I try to do an hour session. In the beginning, it's a deep dive, like 2 hours.
Right.
Really roll up the sleeves, look at the numbers, what's going on, and then an hour, usually every week or every other week, whatever works for that person. And then there's a little bit of homework in between, nothing crazy, because who's got time for that, right? And that's what it's about, like short little nuggets of knowledge, and applying that knowledge, and then taking steps together.
Hmm.
And yeah, and then after that, we just have a conversation in 3 months. How are we doing? What's the progress? Then 6 months if they want to continue on. And then usually my goal is to have them graduate to growth and accountability.
Right.
So now they've proven to themselves and me, they have a process, they're following it, they have follow through, they have accountability, they have clarity, they're walking the walk, right?
Right.
And that's the best gift. And then that's it. And if they have anything else, questions in between, sometimes we do a deep dive. It's not like, all right,
Hmm.
you're on your own now. Right now is employee enrollment season, right? Everybody's getting their employee benefits. I just got a
Yeah.
call. I got this. I don't know what to do. I keep doing this, and Nancy at the water cooler said I should do this, but I'm like, well, Nancy doesn't know your life. Let's look at it. Let's really review. Get on the phone with HR. Ask some questions. Empower ourselves. More knowledge, more power,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, okay, let's get the information to make the right financial decision for your family at this juncture in your life. It changes,
Yeah.
so we can do a deep dive. We do. I also refer, obviously, to other professionals, right? So I have things that I can't do, right? So I'm not a grief counselor,
Right.
So I have people that can do that, right? And so yeah, it's the process is easy. It's a
Hmm.
complimentary consultation, then discovery meeting, then every other week or whatever works for them, the frequency, because I know there's a lot of busy moms out there.
Yeah, definitely.
And sometimes it doesn't work. So it's a half an hour here, half an hour there, whatever it is. If they want it, I'm their biggest cheerleader. I
Hmm.
stand behind them 100% and work with them as much as they need. If they
I
need
love
it
that.
every day, I'll do every day with them. There's no, yeah, seriously, there's no, they have unlimited call, text, email with me because sometimes you just freak out,
Yeah.
right? Oh my God. So it's good to have somebody that understands where you're coming from, your fears, hopes, and dreams, and say, listen, it's going to be okay. We'll get through this.
Yeah. I
Or
love
what?
that. And as we
Yeah.
know, even with like finances, all of a sudden you need new tires or whatever it may be. And it's like, Connor, did we plan for this? Like, how should I go about, where should I take this from? How do we go about this? Like, I didn't quite plan for these things to happen. And so it's great to have that sounding board of like sanity of a third party, like first we can breathe, like we're all okay. But, like here's where we should go about this. Here's how we can plan. Here's how we can plan better for the future, whatever it may be.
Yeah. And then reassuring that there's no debtor's prison, right? So relax. It's going to be okay. Maybe we have to shift some seats around on the budget, but things
Yep.
will get accomplished and everybody's going to be okay on the other end of it. So then that's the reassurance. And then let's just take some steps with what that is. So, yeah,
Love
absolutely.
it. That's awesome. And we don't talk enough about financial coaching as there's so much, physical, personal coaching out there that you do one-on-one, and it just seems so normal. But financial coaching should just be so normal as well, as we're all just trying to work on perfecting these things. Different things come up, it's an emotional thing for some people. So just having that coach, having that sounding board, having that trusted resource to go to is so essential just to have on your team. um, you know, Even when you get through all your debt or whatever it is and you're on track, they're still there for you just in case anything does come up.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I've had a lot of situations that, come out of the blue, right?
Yeah.
Had a client, unfortunately diagnosed with the breast cancer, right?
Mm.
Medical debt.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what's the priority? Health. It's not the money right now, right?
Right.
It's family. It's so these things you take a little bit of a holistic view of things and just be there for them and help them manage because emotions and numbers don't mix, right?
Yeah.
Logic and emotions. No, it doesn't work. So I try to help be that mediator between the two of really helping them what they need to do and clarity, which
Awesome.
was
Awesome.
wonderful. So she was able to. My goal is to help them break through the limitations of what they believe, what they've been doing, and embark on a transformational process that within 3 to 6 months, 12 to 24 sessions, it's game over because they're doing everything they've been hoping to do and
Which
have
is
a
amazing that you could do that in such a short period of time, I mean, even you could get a lot of that done by year's end. So don't wait till January,
no,
don't wait till whenever that date is in your head, let's get started today, get tackling it because, imagine where you could leapfrog to in 3 to 6 months. It could be really life changing for a lot of people, just like it was for Sarah. And maybe you could get your own girls' trip. Who knows?
yeah, it's
Uh,
absolutely. And whatever's on your goal and the things that you say you can't do right now because of money, don't let money get in the way of the things you want to do ever again.
Yeah, definitely. And so, Connor, if someone's interested in working with you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yep. So one is my website, which is www.progress. I want to make some progress. Progressfc for financial coaching.com. Or my email, which is connor.tyson@progressfc.com. My phone number is always available 914-368-3505.
Awesome.
And yeah.
Yeah, so don't be afraid to reach out to Connor. I know he has a complimentary 20-minute session just to make sure it's a good fit for everyone. And then get ready for that deep dive as he's going to help you launch forward and really get you squared away, to live that financially fearless future that you've been always wanting.
Wanting for
Um,
yourself to provide for you and those around you that you love.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you, Connor, for coming on today, sharing this amazing story and your expertise as you just have so much great knowledge to share with the community. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Maggie.
Yeah, we'll talk to everyone again soon. Talk to you later.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.